Alright, it's time for Pseudoregalia 100% Out of Bounds by Killing Pepsi.
Woo. Woo. All right. This is exciting. Exciting times. So, real quick, before anything else, I want to introduce my esteemed gamer commentator, Jaxler.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm gonna be helping out with commentary because Killing Pepsi's throat a little sore.
Nah. Also, they are the goat at commentary. This run is full of goats. We'll get to that later. Anyways, without further ado, gotta start time here on selecting this empty save here. Let's get a countdown from 3. Might as well. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. All right, good luck.
We got it. All right. So this game, if you haven't seen it before, it's a 3D Metroidvania with a lot of emphasis on movement. It is pretty dope. We are so excited to show it off. But right away we have nothing, like you might expect from any Metroidvania. We slowly build up to become very, very powerful. But in this game, it kind of happens maybe a little earlier than you expect. But first off, gonna grab the sword here, the Dreambreaker. Very useful.
Yeah. Yep. So this game kind of has a combat mechanic similar to Hollow Knight, where when you damage enemies, you build up a little like mana meter, and you can see that as like the vertical bar in the left-hand corner of the screen. And so Killing Pepsi is gonna want to make sure that he has that filled up by a certain portion in the run. So he goes ahead and damages that enemy, even though it's not really in the way. And so Dreambreaker is also going to allow us to break these walls right here and allow us to progress. And so going to be our main form of damage too. So the first trick that we're going to see is something called a gainer. Killing Pepsi is going to initiate a skid animation and then jump to do a side flip and then immediately swap directions to redirect the flip back forwards. And that essentially gives him a higher jump that allows him to get a ledge grab right there. And that's called a gainer. Gainer is basically a backflip that sends you forward. And the reason we point that out there is it's going to be really important for a bunch of different movement tech because that's a input that's foundational to getting a bunch of other movement glitches to work. So the next thing that we're going to grab for our arsenal is the slide. And this is arguably the most broken item in the entire game. It's going to let us do a sort of ground slide like a Simon Belmont character. But more importantly, we can actually jump cancel the animation part of the way through. And so if we do that and combine it with the gainer input, like I mentioned earlier, you can carry speed from your slide into midair. And as you'll start to see, we're going to be able to start going really fast now. So something that Killing Pepsi is doing here is you're normally not supposed to be able to get through this section without an ability called Ascendant Light.
I got stuck on it. I got floating there. What's going on? Okay. I know where I'm at now.
Yeah, there you go.
That was amazing.
So you're supposed to have Ascendant Light to be able to see where you're going here. But we don't need that because we actually have memorized where we need to go through here. And so this is gonna allow us to go through Underbelly early instead of the intended exit of Dilapidated Dungeon. The whole purpose of this is to skip the mini-boss encounter with Strong Eyes, which ends up saving a lot of time. But on top of that, we can take this hidden shortcut back here and actually grab Ascendant Light really early. So Ascendant Light normally takes a long time to access. There's like this really long vertical room that you have to do with a bunch of levers. It's really, really slow, but if you take this shortcut, it allows us to get it super quickly here. So right there, you're going to see another one of those big slide gainer jumps. They're called slide ultras. That's just what the community calls them. And we're going to be seeing them a lot over the course of the run. So again, what you'll end up seeing Killing Pepsi do a lot is sort of those slide cancels right there, where Killing Pepsi initiates a slide and then puts Sybil into a fall state so that it cancels the slide early. And then Killing Pepsi can continue the momentum with jump inputs off the ground. So you saw him go for another gainer jump right there. Didn't quite get it because it can be a little tricky to get that out of bunny hops. But right there, we're just going to go ahead and grab that heart piece. So this is the 100% category. So in order to fulfill the requirements for this category, we need all 16 heart pieces. We need all 10 major upgrades. So things like Slide and Dreambreaker. So we've already got 3 of those. We've got 1 heart piece. And then we also need a bunch of green orb upgrades that are hidden throughout the area as well. So you're seeing Killing Pepsi use a lot of the slide movement here. So right here we're going to see a setup for a slide ultra to grab this small key early. So there are a couple of power-ups that we need for 100% that are locked behind small key doors. And so we're going to do that little sequence break right there to grab the locked door upgrade in Underbelly early. And so this is actually a slightly new route that we're doing where we're going down this way and making use of our movement. Again, we're not really supposed to be able to be here yet because we're intended to have some more movement upgrades. But what we can do is we can do a big slide ultra right there. Nice. Continue it with a bunny hop. Oh, that's actually really smart. I actually don't do that little slide cancel right there. I should probably.
Cipher.
That's one of the cool things about like watching somebody else run the same category as you is everyone has their own kind of unique little strategies going into moving through certain rooms. And there's in this game, someone always knows something that you don't in terms of cool or unique ways to approach a room. So everyone, as a result, kind of has their own style, especially when it comes to like people who play different categories, right? So right there, it was very important that we went that way early because that gave us helical power. We now have a wall kick, and normally you get a wall kick by unlocking Sun Greaves, which is one of the main 10 progression items. But we have a wall kick early. So right there, you're looking for a ledge grab there, but if you miss it, you get a checkpoint refresh right there. And so now we're just, yeah, not the end of the world. And so right now we're going to grab another heart piece on our way out of Underbelly. We're going to break up Underbelly into about 3 visits or so, just because there are a couple, like, even though in theory we could get a good chunk of everything in Underbelly right now, it's faster to come back later. That was a really nice strat right there. So the cool thing about these ultra hops, like these massive side flips, is that if you do an ultra hop and land it, you can then chain that into another ultra hop, and that's something that Killing Pepsi did right there in order to instantly redirect and go somewhere a little bit faster. So now we're headed through Empty Bailey here, and we're gonna go ahead and clear out most of all of Empty Bailey's stuff.
Okay,
Sorry, I get like, oh right, we do this first. So my muscle memory is a little beefed up because I've been playing all abilities. So my apologies. We're gonna go ahead into Tower Ruins early. And so normally we're supposed to have several different upgrades like the slide jump, more air kicks, as well as the pogo jump in order to get through here. So Killing Pepsi's going for something called the knee slide glitch here. There you go.
Got one.
Bit of a tricky movement tech right there to basically put you at full movement speed really quickly. And so we're gonna see a bunch of really cool slide ultras through here. Nice, really good set right there. So that last one off like the sloped platform is really tricky as well. Oh, are you going for this?
Yes.
Oh, not quite.
I'm doing it.
Gonna go for it again? Hell yeah.
Hands. I'm gonna. Okay, I'll set up here.
This is a Hundo exclusive setup.
Oh, that's not good. Oh.
Not quite. So we're gonna go for the backup here. So if you, so one of the things with Slide Ultras, this sort of flip tech that you're seeing Killing Pepsi do a lot, is the better that your timing is, the higher you go. And that also comes into play with how much speed you have carried into the jump will determine how high you go as well. So because of that, like your speed conservation there has to be really good. So something that Killing Pepsi is doing here a bit, and once we get Solar Wind, we won't see this really anymore, is something called the knee slide glitch, where Killing Pepsi is doing, there's a good example of it, where we're doing a slide jump into slide jump input, and this sort of breaks Sybil's animation state machine to a degree where it puts her into this weird glitched knee slide animation. And you can actually use that in order to sort of jump cancel early, and it allows you to get maximum speed really, really quick. And so right there we do kind of this is a relatively new route that I believe Thulius came up with, where oh, you got good luck there as well with the eggs as well. So again, Killing Pepsi is trying to make sure that we have enough meter here for later. And then we're kind of doing this all sort of out of order. We're going to grab this major key a lot earlier than intended. And then with wall cling, we're going to see something here called wall cling refreshes. Where, oh, that might not quite work. Okay, so here's another good example. So whenever you wall cling into like a 90-degree corner, if you hold back towards the wall and hold wall cling, you can actually re-cling the same wall and use it to gain a bunch of height. So again, Killing Pepsi is kind of going for some extra enemies around here. just because we want to have full meter by the time we make our way to Listless Library, and we'll explain why that's important once we get there. But we have Solar Wind now, which is a slide jump, so we no longer have to worry about doing any of those knee slide strats anymore, so that's kind of no longer something we have to worry about, which is really nice.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God, exactly.
Got 'em all. That's all of them.
Yeah. So we're gonna make our way through here and grab Indignation. This is another one of our 10 major upgrades. We saw a really cool Slide Ultra redirect right there. And so right here, we're going to grab Indignation. So the way that Indignation works is that as we increase the amount of like meter that we have, we get different damage properties. And the big one that we're worried about is double damage at level 3 Indignation. And so... You're sick. All right. So the reason why level 3 Indignation is important for double damage is that breaking barriers such as this one up here take less hits if you have that double damage. So your damage output actually like matters with the strength of the breakable wall. So we want to have level 3 Indignation there so that we can get it early enough to be able to take care of the breakable wall as fast as possible. So we did a bunch of routing through here to make sure that we had all the small keys that we needed coming into here. And so we're going to see a bit later some strats to actually skip a couple of small keys so that we don't have to worry for them later. So you got 2 heart pieces there, and then right here we're going to see something called a moon kick. Essentially the way that glitch works is that whenever you do a slide jump, you kind of have an anti-grav property for a little bit after you initiate the slide jump. And if you interrupt that with a air kick wall bounce, then your wall bounce actually has the anti-grav property applied to it too. And you can chain this a couple of times once we get Sungraves, and that'll allow us to get height really fast. And so what Killing Pepsi is looking for right here is a slide ultra right here to get us up to here, and then he's going to do a redirect right there to slide underneath down through here. And now we're going to go get Sungraves. So coming up here is a relatively new strat. Once we get Sungraves, if we clip out of bounds and hazard warp, it will actually take us back to the pretty much the start of library. So he's going to do a new setup here where he uses... Nice, that's first try. And again, these wall clip strats are going to be pretty tough. Big part of the reason why we grabbed wall cling so early is we can use it to clip out of bounds, hence the name of 100% out of bounds. And that lets us hazard warp and skip sort of the tutorial platforming where the game teaches you how to make use of your wall kicks. But Killing Pepsi already knows how to use wall kicks, so we're just going to ignore it.
Yeah, I'd say good time for donations right now for next 20-30 seconds.
Yeah, we're just going to be doing some cleanup here, so go ahead.
All right, again, just as a reminder, the Skater Gator 3D run is coming up very soon. So if you want to get a donation in for the Gator Skin Bid War, now's your chance. Green Jammin, Gilded Gary, Gectoplasm, and special guest Tori are still trailing behind Chonky Boy, but it's a close race, and one donation could tilt it in someone else's favor. Additionally, the Sky Armor Color Bid War for Chained Echoes is still going on. That is a no cut-off rolling bid war, so you could donate at any time to change the color of the armor during the run. As well as watching the turtle races, we are currently sitting at around $60 of our $200 target amount, so get those donations in if you want to see those adorable turtles race.
Alright, so now we're doing our backtracking through Dilapidated Dungeon. This kind of officially marks the sort of mid-game section of the run where it really starts to increase in difficulty. We're going to see a really cool strat here where we get a Ultra into 2 wall rides here that's going to allow us to get up to the top of this room really quick. So with the combination of the wall ride and the wall kicks, it's going to allow us to like breeze through a lot of these rooms here. So this next room is really tricky. We're going to be going for, I would argue, the hardest small key to find in the game. And Killing Pepsi has a bit of a different strat there that's a lot more consistent. Everyone kind of has their own different strat for that room, and I have no idea how anyone was meant to find that small key casually. But we're going to grab that small key. The big thing that's important to note is that because we skipped Strong Eyes, we didn't have to spend a small key to go to the boss arena there. And we don't require the keys as part of the 100% definition. It's only things that are permanent on the pause screen. So because of that, we get to skip a slower small key elsewhere, which is really nice. Did you forget something?
I forgot to save.
Oh, you're going to save here for safety. Probably a good call.
I don't need to, but like, you know, I have time.
Yeah. So coming up here in a moment, we're gonna be taking the entrance from Dilapidated Dungeon to Underbelly again for one upgrade and one upgrade only, which is Martial Prowess, and this is gonna lead into one of the coolest out of bounds segments in the run, where KP is going to be doing a cling wall clip, where essentially when we're doing these wall clips, we sort of change directions on the stick as we're initiating the wall cling in order to trick the game into starting the wall cling through like a part of the wall that's out of bounds. And so Killing Pepsi has a very specific setup right here to get out of bounds, and then eventually we'll fall through. And then this is the tricky part and why we made the safety save. So we got to land on this bit of geometry right here, land on those two platforms right here, use this wooden block, ride the ceiling, and then eventually Sybil will clip right through. Wow, that was really fast. And then we're going to avoid a checkpoint trigger, jump into the goop, and that puts us right back at the load zone, and we get right back out of Underbelly. Nicely done.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah, so that part's pretty tricky, and then on top of that, the movement through here can be a little tough as well. Like, and then we go straight after this into theater, which I would argue is the hardest part of any category, but especially 100%, because we do a very large chunk of theater out of bounds. So really cool ultra setup right here. Into a wall kick right there to redirect. There's just so many cool little movement things that like we've kind of integrated into runs. We're gonna see a cool setup here for a pretty much instant setup here. Good. Okay. So what you're gonna see here is a wall kick into attack. And so whenever Killing Pepsi is doing that wall kick into attack, what that does is it cancels the wall kick. So whenever you wall kick, you get a little bit of extra like airtime, so it kind of acts like a second jump. Nice, good strat. Cool. That's a tricky room too. So the wall kick acts like an extra jump midair, right? And so if you do an attack after your wall kick like that, it prevents like the wall kick from like making you wall bounce. So right there we did another cling clip, and make sure we hit the lever there because we need to hit all three levers in this section in order to get access to the major key. And now we're going to be doing a pretty elaborate out of bounds sequence here where we set up for that ledge grab right there. And so that's a pretty good example of like how powerful ultras can end up being. So our goal is that green orb over there, and we've been very careful with our nice first try clip inside. That clip can be a little annoying. Yeah. That gets us aerial finesse, and then because Killing Pepsi avoided a bunch of checkpoint triggers from while out of bounds, we warp straight back to the middle lever, and then we can do another cling clip right here. Boom, there we go. And then we're gonna
Okay. Everything's fine.
Oh my god, what a save! Okay, this is the hard part though. We do a reverse wall clip right there.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
I might be fine.
You might be fine. So, what we're looking to do is clip inside, but alternatively, if you hit the checkpoint trigger, I didn't quite get it. So, Killing Pepsi is going to have to do a backup here, which we actually do. Grab the key while we're here. So right here, you do this side. Interesting. I do other side, but that works. Yeah, so we do that backup wall cling right there. Again, this is, I would argue this is probably the single hardest strat in the run, because you have this wall clip, which is not easy to get, and then you have to nail the fall. Oh, no, you fell in! Oh, tragic. That's why it's hard. Oh my goodness. Alright, so we'll give it another go here. I'll let Killing Pepsi focus. So this is all to sort of get to Soul Cutter without having Strike Break, which is normally a prerequisite to unlock this upgrade.
Oh. I'm falling through so fast there. That probably didn't work either. This does look fun.
Luckily because we have so much HP in this category, we get a lot of tries at this, so.
Yeah, not worried. There we go. Okay.
So whenever
it's so close to like letting it happen. Like that. There we go. That should be fine. Okay.
That should be perfect. Okay. Nice. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So now we got Soul Cutter, and so Soul Cutter, like, we're not really gonna use it all that much. We'll use it for damage in the final boss, but we pretty much skip every place we're supposed to use it. What Killing Pepsi is attempting right here is a wall clip where you have the gate fall on your head, which pushes you through the floor. And so now we're back out of bounds, and we saw another moon kick right there, which Killing Pepsi used in order to quickly summit. And then right here we do some redirects right here, and then we're going to make use of this box that was left out of bounds by the game's devs in order to fall onto this roof right here and fall into this heart piece. And then this is normally where we would get the major key, but Killing Pepsi opted to grab it a little bit earlier, so now Killing Pepsi can just do an ultra right out of that hallway. We're going to spend this small key that we grabbed earlier that we didn't even have time to talk about. Oh, this will get interesting. So this room is really consistent, unless you miss this ultra, because that sword enemy shows up. So there you go.
They will follow you until you leave the area. Like, even if you go out of bounds, they'll follow you.
Oh, yeah. And this is one of my least favorite heart pieces in the game because it does not like to give you a ledge grab. So Killing Pepsi actually does a specific setup so that they don't need the ledge grab in order to get up there.
Slightly slower, but not much.
Yeah. And so right here, we're going to wall cling our way through here. This entrance right here is going to take us through Upper Castle Sansa. And so we're just going to be doing some more ultras in order to skip some of the platforming through here. But while we're kind of doing this shopping trip right here, this would be another good time for any messages we'd like to have read.
Remember that you can enter exclamation point incentives in chat to get a list of active donation incentives, as well as exclamation point donate to a link to the marathon donation page. Additionally, exclamation point artists will show a list of artists who contributed art to the event, and exclamation point charity will bring up information and a link to the Trans Lifeline website.
Alright, so right here, we're going to see a absolutely ridiculous moon kick strat. So again, that's when you slide jump, and as soon as you get the slide jump out, you start wall kicking and bonking into walls. And so you carry that low grab state into the wall kicks, and you can just see how much height Sybil got right there. Alright, and so right here we're going to do sort of a refresh on that platform to get our way over to Good Graces. And now that we're through here, we can kind of use this as an opportunity to fall back through here, grab Pilgrimage, and then we can kind of route the rest of our way through here. Oh. Nice,
Everything
okay.
is fine. That could have been bad.
Yeah, so this room is always really tricky regardless of the strats you use. So we're going to use Ascendant Light to pogo off of the lamp there. I don't think we really talked about what Ascendant Light did, even though we grabbed it so early. Ascendant Light allows you to pogo off of enemies as well as torches and regain some of your resources. Excuse me. Airball. So we grab... I don't know why, but in the rando, like, internally that room is called, like, the room with the extremely slappy boys or something like that. I don't know why it's called that, but I find that very funny.
It's so good.
Alright, so now we're making our way back into... Actually, we haven't been to Sansa Keep yet, which is kind of rad. But we're going to go grab Strike Break real quick. This is just another quick progression upgrade that we're going to grab. It's really interesting because I feel like both All Abilities and Hundo have, like, a progression ability that... you would think you would grab earlier, but we end up routing really late into the run. So Strike Break we grab now just because we need it, again, for the Hundo requirements. We actually skip pretty much all of the intended uses for it. But we do really want to have it because it'll really increase our DPS once we get into the final boss, which is Princess. So we grab a quick heart piece right there. This room is really awkward after grabbing the heart piece. But right here, again, because we don't have Sunsetter yet, we can't get through that barrier normally. So Killing Pepsi does another wall cling clip right there. And that one's actually really easy. All you do is you just wall cling clip the opposite direction, and it works like every time because you just put your head through the gap. And this is a really cool strat we're going to do to get this major key. So we have all the things logically that we need to get this collectible. But instead, we're just going to wall ride around the entire puzzle, and then we're going to hazard warp into the goop, and that's going to take us back to the start of the room. And so now that we have basically cleared out Underbelly, we don't really need to return here. So we're going to go back the way that we came. And so Killing Pepsi is actually going to have to do the exact same wall cling clip, but in reverse.
I do
but yeah, you do it a weird way that nobody else does, and I don't like it. But nice.
All right, check this out. This is a newest strat. Oop, yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
It's kind of interesting because like all three of the major categories, which are any percent, all abilities, and hundo, have all started doing a strat like that, but they all kind of do it in a different way. It's kind of interesting. So now we're gonna go ahead and do keep key skip or keep key clip. So there is a hole in the ceiling right here that you can actually use to get over the top of here. And if we use 2 wall cling clips, we can. Wow, jeez, that was fast. Jeez.
Gaming.
Well, you're never getting this gold. I'm sorry.
Nah.
That was really, really dang clean. So basically what that series of wall clips does is it allows you to hit the lever that opens access to this major key without having to do several rooms of platforming and combat.
All right.
Oh, and you're still going to do this anyway. Fascinating.
I'll get
All right,
like
so
tries.
yeah, so this is kind of a so there is a new strat for skipping like the keep key rooms. And this is actually technically still faster to go for, but we're just gonna. I swear it's frame perfect. It's really rough.
It's so weird.
You have to do a short hop and then perfectly time a wall ride. And if you do it right, it lets you clip out and hazard warp back to the room where you clipped out.
Right here.
But not a huge deal. It would just clip you back to right about there. But right here, we're gonna do some more movement through here. Now we're gonna finally grab Sunsetter as well as this heart piece. We kind of saved it for the end.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so the nice thing, and what makes Hundo really fun, is, like, because we have so many cool movement tech with, like, all the, not only vanilla abilities we have, but also the glitchy abilities that we have, just as emergent properties of our different toolkits, is that, because of all that, we can, like, do backups in really cool ways. So you saw Killing Pepsi do a Moonkick backup, which you normally wouldn't get to see. And that's one of the things that, like, you kind of have to learn how to do as a runner of not only any category, but especially 100%, is there's so many backups that you have to learn how to improvise on command.
Got
And
so many
it-
for every room, every strat.
Every room, yeah. And you know, that's why you always learn something watching like someone else's gameplay, is because you'll probably see them do a backup you've never considered before. Alright, so we grabbed that clear mind right there. That's pretty much all of the green orbs that we need for 100%. We've got like one more heart piece in the room right before we head back to Empty Bailey. And then we're going to make our ascent up tower remains. We're almost at the end of the run here, which is pretty wild. So we wait until now to grab this just because we can do a quick slide jump. And then we're making our way through here. So we're going to skip having to climb up to that bridge the normal way by hopefully doing a Slide Ultra. Slide Ultras are a lot different when you have Solar Wind than when you just have Slide. Because you don't have to... so for one, you don't have to cancel the Slide to do a Slide Ultra because you have the speed. But the timing's all different because you have like the slide jump. So what a lot of runners do, Killing Pepsi does it a lot, I do it a lot as well, is we do these air kicks in order to basically set up for timings to get these slide ultras a bit more consistently. So Killing Pepsi is going to grab a save right here. It's a lot safer than 100%, but the final boss can still be a little cranky sometimes. And there's also a chance of a soft lock happening, so... Oh, you do this strat.
Not until recently, and I don't do it right.
Oh, nice. That's really hard. Because the longer that you go after performing moon kicks, the more likely it is that you're going to lose that low grav state after a bit of time, because you really don't have low grav for all that long. So that was a really good setup in order to make that one work. So the last major key is right at the top here, and now we're going into the princess fight. So the way that this fight's going to work is that we need to make sure that we're at level 3 indignation for the majority of the fight, because whenever we are, we have double damage. But we're going to want to use charged attacks because that deals a lot of damage. But if our soul cutter from our charge attack hits her, then it spends meter like that. So, oh, and you got the pizza cutter attack too.
She did the Beyblade. Oh, this one too. This is a good start. This is a great start. Oh my god. I'm
yeah,
really happy
so
with
her attack patterns get really funky. Once you like do that like attack strat where you hit her midair. Yeah, she's
Oh.
also just giving you the worst luck as well. I think you got to the halfway mark though.
No, I did the block thing accidentally.
Oh, that's what that sound was. So the setup, yeah,
There it is.
there's the sound. So the setup Killing Pepsi is going for is jump heavy attack, and then once Killing Pepsi has 4 bars of indignation, we'll let that ride.
Ready on
Time's
time?
coming
Time.
up now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Faster
that
than I
fight goes
thought.
by really fast, so I didn't even really have time to explain it. But GG's.
Sub 30, not bad. Not
Oh,
bad.
that was sub 30. Nice.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Heck
Congrats.
yeah.
Good job on the run there.
Yeah, low
That was
29 as
amazing.
well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You have
so-
anyone you'd like to shout out?
Oh, would I? Oh yeah, real quick. Shout outs to Yashi, who was originally going to be the runner I was going to race against, but they unfortunately could not make it last minute. Love you, Yashi.
We love Yashi
cool.
in this house.
We do. Real big shout out to Jaxer again for carrying the commentary almost exclusively.
Yeah, thanks for letting me be here.
Yeah, thanks, Fast as Furious. That's all from me. Keep watching the rounds. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Pick up this game. It's like $6 on Steam. If
Yes,
you
that too.
Yeah, come join the community. We have a community Discord linked on speedrun.com. Really easy run to pick up. We have guides there. Come find us. Send one of us a message if you want to learn the run or play rando. But yeah, thanks for having us.